stop, breathe, don't hit that dislike button just yet, or scream "Raw" in the comments like you're Braun Strowman. Just hear me out. Give me a second. Hear me out. I have a point to all this. Don't just look at the title and go, "Oh, let's go kill Miller." I have something to say. I'm not saying I think Roman Reigns deserves to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. I'm not saying I think it would be good if Roman Reigns beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania 33. What I am saying is that given the current lay of the land, that's probably going to be what's best for the future. Why? Here's why. Right, hopefully you've stayed with me. Just have a little look at that dislike counter. Nope, haven't stayed with me at all, and you're already out there planning my impending demise, which is fine, because it means I'm going to go out talking about Roman Reigns. What a lucky boy I am. But yes, at WrestleMania 33, The Undertaker is going to be taking on Roman Reigns, and for my money, it's the most intriguing match on the whole card. There's quite literally dozens of ways this can go, but if you were going to ask me, which you're not, but I'll tell you anyway, Braun Strowman comes out towards the end, he distracts Roman, that allows Undertaker to win, and then coming out of that, you can go back into the Strowman versus Reigns feud, which ties into what happened on Raw recently, and allows you to go, wow, WWE got a lot out of that one match. That's not necessarily the best plan, however. When Brock Lesnar beat Taker at WrestleMania a few years ago, the biggest criticism was that he wasn't the right guy. He didn't need the rub. He was already Brock Lesnar. Again, I understand that, but I actually thought it was quite a good decision by the WWE. Who else comes off more legit than Lesnar? And also, without that victory, he wouldn't have gone on to have the run that he did. So I think it all worked out quite well. Despite him already losing, Taker and WrestleMania do have this special relationship, and it's so special that if anyone were to beat him for a second time, that person could get even more heat, because then you're taking that streak and you're just throwing it and kicking it and stomping it into the ground. It's definitely dead then. That's 2 losses, which is twice as many as 1 loss. I was really good at maths. It's been chatted to death by this stage and is officially the most boring topic in the world. But yes, WWE should at least start thinking about turning Roman Reigns heel. It's not like he's selling loads of merchandise, it's not like his appearance is affecting house show numbers, and he's not having 5-star matches week in, week out. He is very good, I'm not saying that, but he ain't John Cena, and the reason we don't turn Cena heel is because there's a ton of good reasons about why you shouldn't do that. That would actually affect business. So with that logic in mind, it makes a lot of sense to turn Roman Reigns heel. I mean, that's not a surprise to anyone. If it is a surprise to you, good grief, where have you been? Spain? It's lovely, isn't it? Anyway, yes, we should turn Roman into the bad guy, but you can't just do that on a whim. The situation is too problematic. If you don't pull the trigger properly, all that's going to happen is that these same fans are going to start cheering for Roman Reigns because they now think they've convinced the company to do the thing they've wanted them to do for the past few years. And my gosh, is that a crazy situation when you say it out loud. But there's a lot of reasons to suggest that this may be the case, and when you turn him heel, you've got to turn him more heel than the heeliest of heels. You have to give the audience a proper reason to hate this man, and not just because he wears body armor and stole the Shield's entrance music. And you know a great way to do that? You know a great way to achieve that? Have him beat The Undertaker. You can start building his evil character from this point, but that one act is going to make him public enemy number 1 with the entire WWE universe, as they say. And then you can just take all the other nonsense and start building it on top of that. All he has to do at first is continually remind people week in and week out, much like Paul Heyman did after Brock Lesnar's victory. Jam it down the fans' throats. Which is somewhat ironic, because it was the jamming of Roman Reigns down people's throats that turned everyone off to him in the first place. And I love a bit of irony. But allow this negative energy to fester, allow it to turn it into a big ball of rage. And this is the good kind of heat, the good kind of booing. Not people making a lot of bad noise because somebody said suffering succotash. You're not Tweety Pie. It would send Reigns off into antagonistic land with so much momentum that if you then capitalized on it, namely allowing Roman to go out there and chastising the fans for giving him such a hard time since 1822, then he'd be a character reborn. You'd have a new top-level main event heel that could attract legit heat. None of this, oh, I'm really cool, but boo me anyway. This would be a dick heel. Sounded a bit weird. You can then have programs with Goldberg. Have him against Seth Rollins with the roles reversed. Put him against Finn Balor. Hell, take AJ Styles, put him on Raw, turn him face, and do that feud, and then go and do the same thing with John Cena. Imagine the noise. It makes so much sense and could potentially open the door for Reigns that using The Undertaker to get there isn't the worst idea in the world. And yet I know you're mad at me for even saying it, but I'm just the messenger. I'm like an internet postman. Think if you could take that rage and just throw it towards Roman Reigns. You're mad that it happens, and you're allowed to go and be mad at that point at Roman Reigns. And it also gives us so many things we can do coming out of the back of WrestleMania 33, and that's important. Never forget, once the showcase of the Immortals is done, we have to have something, otherwise I'll be on Raw, and nobody wants that. Taker's legacy deserves to be protected and shouldn't be thrown away for no reason, but it does feel like there's some merit here. The Phenom would actually be protecting the WWE's future. Silly as that sounds. I mean, I don't think they're about to go out of business, but he would be using himself to launch another person into the stratosphere. If Taker can be the man to unleash that, then I think he's done a wonderful thing for all of us. And while the alternative would be fine on the night, where do we go from there? Okay, Roman Reigns loses to The Undertaker, and if Braun Strowman does get involved, then we get that feud, and that's fine, and I'll enjoy it. It's not exciting, it's not special, it's not different. I want Reigns to start becoming the performer I think he can be, and if this is how we get there, so be it. And if you do ignite him to become the baddest of all bad guys, that's usually the catalyst for the goodest of all good guys to come along, and then who knows, maybe the business explodes again and we all dance around the street in our pants. Now, if you have made it to the end of this video and do agree, please think about taking away that dislike and giving it a like instead, or as I know what you're actually trying to do, which is give the video another dislike. But I tried, can't say I didn't try. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below, which will probably go along the lines of, I can't believe Simon said this. And then don't forget to like or dislike, share, and subscribe. You can even come and tell me I'm a giant moron on Twitter at SimonMiller316. I'm Simon from WhatCulture, and this seems like a great time to remind you that the Y series in many ways is meant to play devil's advocate and just come up with ideas to spawn debate, and then we chat about it, and we're all intelligent, and it's interesting, and it's different. Yeah, I know. I already know.
This Monday, when WCPW returns to London, Bad Bones versus the #1 contender for the WCPW Championship, Rampage. Katie Ray gets her chance at revenge as she takes on Viper. The ambassador of British wrestling, Doug Williams, versus the Kiwi buzzsaw, Travis Banks. The American Nightmare Cody Rhodes will defend his WCPW Internet Championship against a mystery opponent. WCPW proudly presents Chain Reaction. See it in person March 13th. Tickets available at wc.pw/London. Watch Chain Reaction exclusively on WhatCulture Extra from March the 17th.